Hi, I'm Marty Shupak. Welcome to Shupak Sports. You are about to view a youth baseball and softball clinic. It's basically for coaches and parents of players 7 to 13 years old. And I coached 30 years. I've had some success in that too, and I'm kind of a drill guy. That's where I made my bones in creating drills, and I've published a number of books. But we're going to get right into it. I just want to emphasize when I first started coaching, I neglected to really take seriously the importance of warming up. It is very important to have your players warm up. You could just do it anywhere from like 3 to 5 minutes at a minimum. If it's just jogging around the infield and doing arm rotations, you'll see that studies have come out too that warming up in the long run helps prevent injuries. But besides that too, when you do warming up for these young kids, it's actually instilling a kind of conditioning them to warm up uh, later in life when they're going to be weekend warriors, either jogging, playing tennis, or pickleball. If you show them the importance of warming up, it'll continue in their life. But let's get right into it. The first drill I like to do in a warm after we do a little bit of warm up is the third base drill. Now the picture doesn't really show it how it should be. Usually there are 12 players on my team. I have four players at first, third, and home. Okay. The coach is at home plate with a bat, and usually we have the four players. I have one step out. I'll have I'll hit a ball on the ground to the third baseman, first one. He throws it to first. Now, I usually carry two balls in my hand. The third baseman will throw it to one of the players catching. After the player goes, he goes to the end of this line. He goes to the end of this line. The only thing I do a little different at home, because there's a lot of activity, players going in and out, and the potential for injuries with me swinging a bat, them bending down, I try to have just one player for like two or three repetitions. Okay. After the drill is over, we rotate uh, like this. Third base goes to first, first goes to home, home goes to third base, and I get it right away. The key is to, I do it with two baseballs. I have a bucket of balls. Sometimes the ball will get through the third baseman. I just yell out, leave it. I have the guy who's catching flip me the next ball. Very, very important. I want you to include this if you do this drill. Okay. And the reason I do the third base drill, I do third base because it's the longest throw to first base. What I also tell the players, especially the young players, is that make sure you throw to the target. Early in the season, I don't care if it gets there on one or two bounces. You're going to have young kids, some of them can't reach it. As you know, over a period of the course of a baseball season in youth baseball, let's say, like I'm in the Northeast, let's say it runs from March till July. Kids develop in that short period of time. So by the end of the season, if they're throwing it on one or two bounces, by the end of the season, they should reach them on a fly ball. Okay. I like this because it's the longest throw in the infield. Okay. And it's going to develop confidence when they do play third base. Now, one of the things I do, and I start to mention, on the last ground ball to third base, I have the players pick it up and drop it. I'll yell out before I hit it, bobble drill. They'll know pick it up and drop the ball. When they drop the ball on the ground, then they pick it up on the ground, okay? And they make the throw to first base. What I'm doing in the bobble drill, and I make sure everyone does it once whenever we do this drill. And I do this drill 80 to 90% of my practices because they get a lot of repetitions once they learn how to do it correctly. But with the bobble drill, we are conditioning them not to give up on the ball. that if they keep a ball in front of them, remember, they don't necessarily have to catch it as much as keeping the ball in front of them. Over 50% of the time, close to like 70 or 80% of the time, when they bobble it, if they pick it up cleanly, they could still make the play at first base. Okay. So that's the third base drill. All right. Three groups, just in review. We got three groups. And again, the picture's not showing it. Usually we have four at each base. I'll work with two baseballs. I hit a ground ball. They throw it to first base. Hit a ground ball to third. They throw it to first. After everyone goes, you rotate. If you go, you could go through the line more than once. On the last chance, you yell out bobble drill. Okay? Great drill, a lot of repetitions. But remember, and I used to get caught up in this when I was a younger coach. I was intent on giving players a lot of repetitions, but what you want to do is you want to not just have quantity, you want to have quality repetitions. All right. It doesn't make sense if you're just going to throw them in there and get as and then you're able to say, oh, I had more repetitions than every other team. You want to have good quality repetitions. Next drill I do, very similar. I line up baseballs at third base and shortstop. I have usually two players at first base. There's a bucket, empty bucket there. The player who's not playing first will back it up. All right. They'll line up behind the baseballs, and on the go command, I start with third base. They run to the ball, pick it up, throw it to first. After they go to the end of the shortstop line, and then I go to the shortstop line. It continues like that, and it's a great drill. Again, they get a lot of repetitions. They go to the end of the next line, and I usually have a coach at first base playing the first baseman early in the season. Okay. Again, early in the season, and I've done this with my T-ball team, they don't have to reach first base on a fly ball. Okay. This is one of my staple warm-up drills, just like the third base drill. And you don't want to rush them in this drill. If you have a teaching point about, let's say, stepping into the throw, stop for a second and explain it. Okay? You want to correct any skill that you see if you could improve upon it. Again, third base drill, we line up baseballs. We start at third base. After the player goes, he goes to the end of the line at first base, and so on and so forth. Usually, if I'm using players, I usually rotate these guys after every, I don't know, 5 or 10 chances. And when I run out of baseballs, they bring the bucket and I line them up again. Great warm-up drill. All right. I like to integrate fun drills with skill drills. So if I'm doing a skill drill or a skill session or what I call game situations, and I'll give you an example. If we're working on first and third defense on a steal, I'll do that for like 10, 15 minutes, then I'll throw in a fun drill. I'm going to show you a couple right now. I'll show you one, then I'm going to show you a product that you'll be excited about. But this is a drill, if you look close, it's the rapid throw drill. Okay, now pay attention because you want to divide the players up in pairs where each pair is kind of like has parity amongst each other. So you're not going to have the best two skilled players on your team as one pair. You might team up the best player with the worst or second worst. What you do is you're going to spread them apart. This picture is showing them too close. And I have them about 20 or 30 feet apart. One line will have the baseballs. On the go command, they begin to throw back and forth as fast as they could. And usually I start on the first round for like 15 seconds. Okay. After I say stop, I go through each line, ask them how many throws they had. All right. They're on the honor system. They do it right. A couple of things. if this is the row that started with the baseballs, I always have them put one extra baseball so they can reach down and get it. And what I do this for is because you're going to see a lot of times they'll overthrow to their partners, and I don't want them. I don't want to penalize young kids just because of an overthrow. So I give them another chance. So if they overthrow, they'll bend down and pick up the ball. After you go for 15 seconds, I move the line back anywhere from like 10 to 20 feet, and I do it again. I might go 20 seconds. Remember, I kids love competition, and I do make this competitive. Who finishes in first? Who finishes in second? Who finishes in third? Unlike with the picture, as I said, you have to spread them out. So quickly in review, it's the rapid throw drill, and they'll throw it back and forth for a certain amount of time. See how many they've done. Only the ones that are caught. Now you'll see in this drill, because they're doing it quickly, it's amazing that they'll catch the ball and on the transfer, they learn to do the transfer and their footwork it automatically happens with a throw. They'll step into the ball. It's really a very, very good drill. It's a fun drill. All right, let's take a minute and just to tell you about a product that I produced a number of years ago. It's a 59-minute baseball practice. I did this because my son's first practice was like literally 3 hours of batting practice, but not just batting practice, boring practice. So over a period of a couple of years, I developed my own drills. As I said, I'm a drill guy, and I put together this video, the 59-minute baseball practice. I have about 35 drills. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link directly to this video at the end of the video that you're watching right now. 100% free. I want you to take the drills out of this video, use them for the benefit of your son, daughter, softball team, or baseball team. And I tell everyone this, every coach and every parent, if you see one of my drills and you can improve it, I urge you to do it. I don't have a monopoly or royalty in any particular drill. Okay, I love doing drills, but if you can improve upon the drill, do it. The 59-minute baseball practice, you probably heard about it, but it'll be at the end of this. I'll put it two spots at the end of this video and on the description on the YouTube channel. I'll put it underneath. Speaking about the YouTube channel, please, if you like what you're seeing, I'm going to go over a few more drills. I have one advanced strategy, so you want to stick around. But if you could give me a thumbs up, I would appreciate this. If you want to keep this concept going, I urge you all also give me any sort of positive or negative comments. I try to respond to all of them. And I want to keep this concept going as long as I could do this. If I could help your son or daughter become not just better athletes, but better individuals, better fundamentally sound in baseball or softball, and better teammates, and I can make you a better coach or better parent of a youth athlete. That's my goal. All right, next drill. All right, we're going to go through this quickly. We're going to get to the advanced drill. This is the circle drill, very popular. And when you have a popular drill, interestingly, your team will let you know how popular it is. They'll ask for it. And I've coached 30 years. I found that some years, one drill will be popular one year, another year, it won't be as popular. They'll ask for a different drill. And this drill improves concentration, and it also adds some subtle pressure to the players, which I think is a good thing. I don't want embarrassing players, but I also want to put the players under a little bit of duress. That'll help them during the game. It'll also help them in their life time. If they're ever in business, they have to give a huge presentation. That'll help them too. It's a popular drill, and it can be done with a large circle or two small circles. What we do is we have a circle, we put a ball in. They can throw it to anyone in the circle except for the person next to them. And a coach or assistant coach will stand there and count how many times they're throwing the ball without an error. Now, interestingly, in this drill, the circle drill, there are a few things you could do. First of all, when the kids are very young, I like to do it where I use a soft cover ball and I have them do it barehanded. I'm a big believer in having young kids, T-ball kids, do different drills barehanded as long as it's safe. The other thing you could do here, you could do it with two baseballs. I've thrown two baseballs in there, and the kids really have to focus. The other thing you could do with the circle drill, you could divide it into two smaller circles of six and make it a competition. Okay, good drill. They have to throw the ball fairly hard on the ground. They're always throwing grounders, no fly balls. So this is the circle drill. All right, here's a technique, and I'll tell you how I got to this. This is a it seems so easy, it's stupid, but you have to pay attention to your players. Okay, this is called cut off the moving ball. I have the players line up in the outfield, okay, and with the back to the ball, and I'll throw the ball to the side and I yell, go. They have to turn around and pursue the ball and cut it off. The reason I did this drill, one year I had a phenomenal athlete, but he had very little baseball IQ. For whatever reason, when he was in the outfield, I put him in center field full cause of his speed. When a ball was getting by him, he would like run parallel to the ball. I never understood it, and he wouldn't cut it off. He would wait till it stopped. Okay. He would escort the ball out to the fence. It would drive me crazy. He did it twice. Then I put in this drill and I taught the players to cut it off. You know, in football, they have a drill called the pursuit drill, where the defense will be in their positions and a running back will go to one side or the other, and the players have to run and they have to adjust their angle of pursuit. So they tag them. Same concept. This is a drill. You could do it just once in the year. But don't get caught off guard. Make sure your players know how to cut off a baseball, how to anticipate where it's going. And, you know, as a coach, sometimes you don't want to get too involved, but I would always keep track of how wet or dry the field is. If they cut the lawn that day or a few days afterwards, if it was slow or fast. I don't like to give the players too much information. I don't want them thinking too much, but once in a while, I would tell some of the outfielders if they were really better athletes, you know, the grass hasn't been cut, you could charge the ball because it's going to slow up every time it does a rotation. Okay, we're moving along quickly. Next drill, it's the outfield relay drill. And what I do is I put two lines of players in the outfield, two coaches, two bucket of balls. I put usually like 5 or 6 boxes, and I put a cone on top. I have one player come out from the line, and he's in the infield. The coach will toss the ball to the ground and yell, go. The first person has to go get it. The infielder turns around, puts his hands up as a target, and the player has to throw the ball in the fly, hit him. Then he turns around and tries to knock down the buckets. After this line goes right away. Few things here. If the infielder turns to the glove side, the team gets 1 point. If the infielder knocks down the buckets or the cone on top, they get 2 points. So potentially you could get 3 total points. Again, kids love competition. It's a fun game, and it's teaching a concept too. Turn into the glove side and throw into the target, to the infielder. It's a great drill. It works. We have one coach here who readjusts the boxes and the cones. The kids love this drill. And you see it when it works in a game, when they hit the relay player and he turns to the glove side and throws the player out, you have a great feeling of success. Next drill quickly, and we want to get to the advanced drill. It's the rundown drill. Now, let me just tell you something about rundowns. I've seen coaches over the years in youth baseball, softball, when there's a rundown, they would just yell to the team or teach the team, run him back to the base he came from. To me, that's not acceptable. When you have a rundown, if you do it right, rundowns are God's gifts to your team to get an easy out. There's no need to run him back to the base he came from. It doesn't make sense at all. What I do in this drill is I have the player between first and second and third and home. I have one player that's a base runner, two players with their gloves. I'll yell go, and they'll have a soft cover baseball. And they'll try to tag the base runner out. He has to try to get to a base. Couple of things here. This has given players the experience of seeing a rundown. I've seen coaches tell the players what to do, but they never practice what to do in a rundown. Now, obviously, here, you're not going to have other players in a regular rundown. You could teach your players where to back up, but you're showing them the concept of what to do. And I'll tell you one thing. In rundowns, I teach my players, you want to get the base runner in what I call is a sprint mode. When they're in a sprint mode, it's hard to stop. Oh, by the way, make sure the base runners wear helmets. And in rundowns, the best number of throws as a rundown is 0. Okay, so if the fielder could outrun the base runner, that's the best thing to do. The second best number of throws is 1. Remember, the more number of throws that the fielders throw, the better the chance that the base runner will be safe because an error will happen. So you want to limit your throws, practice the rundown drill. Do not accept rundowns to move the player back to the base he came from. I'm telling you, it's a gift for an easy out, but you have to practice it and teach the players the sprint mode for the base runner. All right, quickly, was running late. This first and third strategy is called create doubt. What I'm doing here, there's a base runner at first, base runner at third, there's a coach in the third base box. I'm moving the shortstop, okay, in between the pitcher's mound and second base. In this particular play, the second baseman will cover the steal. And what I'm doing here, this is the key. The shortstop has to be a very good actor and a very good athlete. Remember, a lot of strategies are dependent upon the skill of your players, okay? What I do here is I have the catcher throw through to the second baseman, but what I do is with the shortstop, where he's lined up, and I teach him, when you see the ball go past you, reach up like you're grabbing it, and then come down with your glove, with your hand there, and turn to the third base coaching box and start moving over and raise your glove like you're going to throw it. Okay? What you're doing here is you're creating in an optical illusion because he's reaching up for the ball and he's turning right away. You're creating doubt with the third base coach because he's probably telling the base runner if they throw the ball through, you break for home. But if you're creating doubt, he might say, okay, run. No, stop, because maybe he's not sure. And I'll tell you interestingly about this drill. If you have a good shortstop who's a good actor, I've gotten double plays where I've got the base runner out at second. He's running from first to second. And then the second baseman looks home, he throws it home. Because I created doubt with the third base coach, if he sends him to break home, he's breaking late. It's a great concept, creating doubt. You have to have a good athlete at shortstop. You could practice this, and you have to have also a good catch. And remember, the shortstop, again, reaches up about where he thinks the ball is, and then he comes down with his glove right away, and he turns to the third base coaching box. The shortstop, he can't be concerned about what's going on about second base. His concern is to sell to the third base coach and the guy running at third base. His only job is to sell them that he caught the ball. Okay? Create that. It's a great drill. Now, with that, we're going to close it out. Listen, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor again. If you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. Please give me any comments. Please subscribe to Shoe Pack Sports. We haven't been getting as many as we thought at this point. We need more subscribers to keep this going. We're going to be having interviews with people in the sports world too to help you as a parent or coach. So please subscribe. And also, if you like this, please share with your uh, fellow coaches, with your league commissioner, with your league president, and anyone else you know involved in baseball or softball. So with that, we're going to close it out. Until then, I'll meet you at third base.